What's up guys, Atom Bacon here, and I decided that I want to throw my own hat into the Smash Brothers DLC speculation rings. These videos are a dime a dozen, my opinion's no more or less important than anyone else's, but I figured I'd throw it out there. If you're not familiar with my channel, I apologize for various stutters or sniffles. I do have Tourette's, it's not really something I can control, but anyway. For this video, I have compiled 3 sets of 4 characters. As of writing this, it is February 20th. So, currently the only DLC fighter we know the identity of is Joker, as of writing this. Or, not writing this, sorry, this is actually improvised. As of recording this is what I meant to say. I have 3 sets of 4 characters. The first 4 are characters I legitimately think have a pretty good chance of getting in. These are my honest predictions. Second set is my wish list. The characters that I want, but will concede probably won't get in. And the third list is a joke character. Characters that would be really silly, but either because they'd have ridiculous playstyles or just represent games that have no business being in Smash Brothers. For all 12 characters, there are 2 golden rules. The characters must be from series or franchises that have not been represented in the Smash Brothers series as fighters yet. There can be spirits of these characters, or trophies, or assist trophies, or whatever, but this series cannot have a fighter in the Smash Brothers Ultimate roster as of writing this. Second, so basically what I'm saying is no Geno, no Waluigi, nothing like that. The second rule is only characters original to video games. So no Goku, no Ruby, as awesome, as much as I love Ruby, and that would be amazing. Also, we need a Scythe wielder. I want a Scythe wielder in Smash Brothers, and there aren't any Scythe wielders on my list because I couldn't think of any good ones. But I would like a Scythe wielder in Smash Brothers, but I'm digressing. And anyway, so let's start off with my predictions. The characters I actually think have a pretty good chance of getting in. And the biggest one, I'm going to start out with Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I absolutely think that Sora will make the roster in one of the 4 next DLC slots. Kingdom Hearts is a huge series. It's been a big series for a really long time. Sora is a very iconic and recognizable protagonist, and Square and Nintendo have been getting along a lot better lately. Not only has Cloud gotten into Smash Brothers, but we just, in the last Direct, got the announcement that Final Fantasy 7 and 9 are coming to the Switch. So it looks like Square and Nintendo are starting to get along better, considering Final Fantasy 7 is famous for not being on the Nintendo system, and now here it is. So I don't think that the tension between Square and Nintendo is a reason for Sora not to get in. You could argue the Disney side of things, but while I don't know a lot, I'm pretty sure that Disney does not own Sora. Square owns Sora, to my understanding. So, I don't see a problem. And they have to build a model for Sora in Smash Bros. Anyway, so if there are any little any little Disney references, like a Mickey Mouse emblem on his costume somewhere, I'm sure they could just edit that out in his Smash Bros. Model. That wouldn't be difficult. And I think Sora deserves it. He's been around for a long time. Honestly, I'm not a big Kingdom Hearts person. I played like 20 minutes of the first game at Chris Kringle's place once, and a little bit of the Dream Drop Distance demo, and that's the extent of my Kingdom Hearts experience. Everything else I know about the games, I just know from watching countdowns. So, yeah. No bias, no personal attachment, but I honestly think that Sora deserves a spot. My second pick is one that I honestly have the least amount to say, and that's the Luminary from the most recent Dragon Quest game. I believe it's Dragon Quest 11. I could be wrong about that. I know even less about Dragon Quest than I do about Kingdom Hearts. Honestly, I really don't have a lot to say about this one. There's been a lot of rumors going around that a Dragon Quest character will get into Smash Bros. And I'm not one to chase rumors. I usually avoid leaks and rumors because either they're right and the surprise is spoiled, or they're wrong and I get disappointed. But I've heard this rumor a lot, and all I can say is I just have a gut feeling that it's true. I don't have a concrete argument like I had for Sora or the later characters. I just have a gut feeling that the rumors of a Dragon Quest character will be true. And the Luminary is the most recent Dragon Quest protagonist to my knowledge, so it makes most sense he would be the one to get in. Sorry, that's all I have to say about that one, but moving on to one I have a fair bit more to say, Velvet Crow from Tales of Berseria. If you asked me what the 5 biggest JRPG series are, I would say Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Shin Megami Tensei, and Tales of. We have many Pokemon in the roster, we have a Final Fantasy character in the roster, and we now have a Shin Megami Tensei character in the roster with Joker. He isn't released yet, but he is confirmed, so I'm counting it. If the Luminary gets in, then that's Dragon Quest, and that only leaves Tales of. And Tales of Berseria is the most recent new game to come out. There has been a mobile game, I think, and a remastered version of Tales of Vesperia on the Switch. But the most recent original plot, original set of characters and story is Tales of Berseria. And I just think Velvet Crow would be a really interesting character. She'd make a really cool, like, rush down, very fast, very aggressive. That's how she is in her game. She just tears through all of her opponents. And one of the unique things about Tales of Berseria that was actually unique even for the Tales series is that they got rid of basic attacks and made all of her arts, in the Tales games, your special abilities are called arts, made all of her arts comboable. And this is true for every character in that game, but it seems like Sakurai and the development team really put an emphasis on capturing games' unique mechanics in their characters. Bayonetta's many guns and combo-heavy playstyle, Ryu and Ken's multiple inputs based on light or heavy. They really prioritize those unique mechanics in these characters. So I think with Velvet, obviously they wouldn't not give her regular abilities. She'll have her jabs, tilts, smashes, aerials. But I think it would be cool to make her 4B moves all able to combo in and out of one another, and then you create unique chains. I think that might be difficult to develop, but it would create a really cool high skill floor, high skill ceiling character that could pull off some crazy rushdown combos when you master her. And again, the Tales of series is really popular, and also, for those who don't know, Tales of is developed by Bandai Namco, who also works on Smash Bros. Ultimate and Smash Bros. 4. Bandai does have a rep in the games with Pac-Man, but when I think of Pac-Man, I think of arcades, retro gaming, the olden days. I don't think of a company that owns Pac-Man. He's more of a symbol of retro gaming, not a symbol of the company, the way Mario is the symbol of Nintendo, although I guess that's a bad example because Mario is kind of an example of gaming. He's not really a symbol of Bandai the way, say, Master Chief is a symbol of Microsoft. So I think getting a Tails representative in Smash would be great for Bandai to get a little more recognition. Granted, I am aware Nintendo execs are picking the DLC characters, not Sakurai or the development team. But I still, even if that invalidates the Bandai argument, I do think that getting a Tales of rep would be really good. Tales of is a huge RPG series, comparable to Final Fantasy. And I absolutely think it deserves some representation in Smash Bros. And similar to my Luminary argument, Velvet being the most recent new protagonist would get in. If not Velvet, then Lloyd Irving, the protagonist of Tales of Symphonia, as to my knowledge that's the most famous game. As for my fourth and final prediction, I actually mentioned this in passing a moment ago, and please don't chew my head off for this, but I want to make an argument for Master Chief. Like Sora, I have no bias here. I've never been a Microsoft fan. Well, okay, I've never been an Xbox fan. I fully support Microsoft over, let's say, Apple, but I've never been an Xbox fan. Honestly, no need to get into that whole thing. It really just comes down. I'm not a fan of the controllers. That's really all it's been. And I'm also not a big shooter person outside of, Splatoon. But it's not a character I have a big attachment to the way I do. It's not a character I have a big attachment to, so again, no bias here. But I think less off of his gameplay and more off of just his status and how much of an icon and a mascot he is. I do think that he deserves a spot in Smash Bros. More than he thematically fits. But, there are tons of genres represented in Smash Bros. Everything from tons of JRPGs, action-adventure, or even fitness games. And I think FPS is a major genre that's really missing out. The closest thing we have is the Inklings. But I think getting an FPS rep kind of would be good, just for coverage. And as far as shooters go, Halo's one of the more cartoony ones out there. Like, it's nowhere near as cartoony as Splatoon or Overwatch or Team Fortress 2, but it's nowhere near as gritty as Battlefield or Call of Duty or Gears of War either. Master Chief himself has a lot of... he has a lot of, like, very fantasy sci-fi weapons that what I think would blend into Smash Bros. Perfectly fine. I mean, Snake is a hell of a lot more realistic, and there's nothing wrong with him. So, I don't think the Master Chief in Smash Bros. Would be a problem. I think he would play somewhere between a fusion of Snake and Samus, if I were to take a guess. A YouTuber called Noggin actually did a full video on a potential Master Chief moveset, so you can check him out. I'll put a link to his video in the description. I don't know him personally or anything, but I watch him and he did a video about it recently. But yeah, I think the Master Chief deserves a spot. I think the genre representation would be good. And I just think we need I feel like we need one more M-rated character in Smash Bros. We have Snake, we have Bayonetta, we have Joker. I think one more M-rated character in Smash Bros. Would be great. Those are my predictions. Now, on to my wish list. My most wanted character ever since Brawl has, and still is, Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. I have wanted him for a long time, and I think he has better chances now than ever. In Brawl, his chances seemed minuscule. Like, yes, his debut game was a Wii exclusive, but a character... third-party characters were just being introduced with Snake and Sonic, and Snake might be from an M-rated game, but Snake himself is a very honorable and very kind character. Like, yeah, he's done some terrible things. War does that to people, but he is a good-hearted man. He does what he does for the better of his country and those he cares about. Travis is a sex-obsessed joy killer who just slashes the shit out of everyone because it's fun. Now, okay, he does have... that's discrediting him a little. He actually goes through some pretty good character development in his games, but I'm not going to get into that right now, because A, derail the conversation, B, just play the games. They're worth your time. I'm not going to say they're amazing, but they're worth your time. So I could understand the argument in Brawl. And even Smash 4... until Bayonetta dropped. Any argument I had against Travis, or any argument I could justify against Travis, was equally true of Bayonetta, and she wasn't even on a Wii exclusive at the time. So... or a Nintendo exclusive, I mean. Bayonetta 2 was, but her debut game wasn't. So, and Travis would just be so much fun. Like, yeah, he's a sword character. I think there's a lot you can do outside the sword. He doesn't have to be as married to it as, say, like most of the Fire Emblem reps are. He could be more like Shulk, not in like the stat shifting. And maybe Shulk's a bad example, but he has cool attacks. He has very he even uses pro wrestling moves in his game, so those could be some really fun potential for his grab. And would be an interesting like counteract to Incineroar. I think he has really good chances, and with Travis Strikes Again now on the Switch, and No More Heroes 3, being teased to have been in development. Plus, I just think now, more than ever, is the best time for Travis to get into Smash. And anyone who has played Travis Strikes Again, you know this, but the whole plot of his newest game is about him going into different game universes. It's the perfect setup. So yeah, Travis, most wanted character. Next up, for most wanted characters, is Cat from Gravity Rush. I don't have a lot to say about this, I just really love this character, and I really want her to Smash. She is in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, but I haven't played that game, and from what footage I've seen, they didn't really do her as good a justice. Her animated shorts are cute, but going back to what I said about, like, capturing the game's unique mechanics and the characters, there's so much you could do with Cat and her gravity shifting, especially since I'm pretty sure that her appearance in All-Stars was when only Gravity Rush 1 existed, and now with Gravity Rush 2 and the alternate styles of Jupiter and Lunar, there is a lot you could do with that moveset. I might even make a video talking about potential movesets for her, and if she gets confirmed, I have some ludicrous chance I absolutely will. But Cat, second most wanted character, I don't think she is nearly as likely as Travis. Yes, she's from a PlayStation exclusive, and so is Joker, but Persona 5 made huge waves in the gaming community. Gravity Rush, I love it, but it's kind of a hidden gem. Third one is kind of a generic pick from what I can tell. This is one a lot of people are clamoring for, but I'd love to see Shantae. I think she has a lot of potential. She does have a spirit in the game, so the devs are certainly aware that she exists. With how much Nintendo is trying to support indies, I think having a proper indie rep in the game would be important, and I think Shantae just fits the best for that. She has a lot of moves that she could utilize, like obviously her transformations have a ton of potential. She has various other forms of magic, tons of pirate tools that she uses in the third game. There's a lot of potential, and for how much weapon variety there is, having a character that uses their hair would be pretty cool. Technically Bayonetta does as well, but it's not as obvious. Bayonetta more so uses her hair as a catalyst for casting magic, whereas Shantae literally just uses her ponytail as a whip. So, and it's probably one of the most wanted indie reps for sure. And I'm no different. And lastly, one that I think is the least likely of the, well, about as likely as Cat, I'd say in my opinion, which is ironic because it's a dog, Amaterasu from Okami. We don't have very many quadrupeds in Smash Bros. We have Ivysaur. If I'm missing any, I'll put them on screen. But the only quadruped I can even, oh well, I mean the Duck Hunt Dog, Ivysaur and Duck Hunt Dog. And if I'm missing any, I'll put them on screen. But I think Amaterasu has tons of potential. There's so many moves, so many different tools that she uses in her games. Lots of things you could draw movesets from. She's in a very a very combat-focused game, so there's a lot to draw from. And it would be kind of cool to have someone on the same level as Palutena, because having only one goddess creates a bit of a power monopoly, you could say. Give her another goddess to contend with. And lastly, the joke picks. The ones I do not for a second think will ever get in, but these would be really funny. The first one I want to talk about here, and the one that kind of inspired me to make this part of it, is Asuka from Senran Kagura. Now, admittedly, Asuka, as far as her gameplay and moveset, would probably fit the best of these next four into Smash Bros. She comes from a very cartoony, fast-paced, hack-and-slash beat-em-up game, and there's a lot that you could pull from. But she's on here more because of the idea of a Senran Kagura character getting into Smash Brothers, which honestly is kind of just ridiculous. Senran Kagura is a controversial game series, to put it lightly. And yeah, Bayonetta is overly sexualized too, but it's a bit more of her character identity, and she backs up that sexualization with a lot of self-confidence and the ability to use her appearance to her advantage, whereas the characters in Senran Kagura are kind of just overly sexualized for the pleasure of the fans, and it doesn't really serve the gameplay. I'll be honest, from the games I played, that being the 3DS titles Burst and Deep Crimson, if you can get past the fan service, there's some actually really good characterization and story in those games. But a lot of people don't. And I think a lot of people would probably be up in arms if a character from a game like that or Dead or Alive got in. So, I kind of ironically want her, partially because of that, and partially because I think she'd be a really fun character that would play somewhere like a combination of Sheik and Sonic, because Samurai Kagura has a lot of like homing attacks and snapping to enemies, kind of like Sonic, but I digress. Speaking of controversial games though, it doesn't get more controversial than Grand Theft Auto. And I don't think I need to explain why having Trevor, Franklin, or Michael in Smash Brothers would be nothing short of hysterical. I think those three could work well as like a palette swap of each other. Like, you get that character, and you have like 2 skins for Trevor, 2 skins for Michael, 2 skins for Franklin, and I don't know what you do with the last 2. Maybe find some other character. I don't know. You can't really split a costumes 3 ways, but having palette swaps of those would be hilarious. And just like Senran Kagura, the premise of having a character from such a controversial game series. And I know I said we need more M-rated characters in Smash Brothers, but I do not honestly think that this is the way to go. I think a character like Master Chief fits that bill well, and still could work in the confines of Smash without being too unrealistic. Yes, we've seen that guns in Smash Brothers aren't that big a deal. Snake, Bayonetta, Joker, characters like the Star Crew and stuff have them too, but those 3 have the most realistic guns. Joker and Snake especially. So, heck, they have more realistic guns than half of what Master Chief would have. So yeah, I think that they would be hilarious, and implementing vehicle mechanics into their moveset, kind of like Wario, would be really funny. Actually, what would be really funny is if they could actually hijack Wario's bike and drive it back at them, at him. That would be great. Just as like a little Easter egg character interaction. But yeah, totally silly. I do not expect it, but hey, that would be pretty funny. Or Nico Bellic, or heck, make that the 4th skin. 2 Trevor, 2 Michael, 2 Franklin, 2 Nico. I know Nico's from GTA 4, but hey, whatever. This is the joke pick, so I don't need to take this too seriously, right? Moving on to something a little more lighthearted. This is a game that I honestly think is popular enough to warrant a Smash character in terms of representation, but would have a really funny moveset. And I'm not really sure how willing Valve would be to give one of their characters to Nintendo, but having Chell in Smash would be really fun. In terms of gameplay, Chell is probably the one I want the most of these 4. Because there's a lot you could do with the portal mechanics in Smash Brothers. Maybe have like her sign B and neutral B be her portal gun. Like, one shoots a blue portal, one shoots an orange portal, and maybe give them different projectile properties. Like, I know in the portal games the shots don't do damage, but you made like one is more like Fox and one's more like Falco, like higher damage, no flinch, lower damage with flinch, something like that. I don't know. And then obviously if they hit a wall, floor, or ceiling, they create a portal that you can mess around with. Just like there's so much you could do. I'm just picturing putting like a blue portal on the moving platform on town and city, and then an orange portal on the floor. Grab your enemy down, like spike them into the portal as the platform's going off stage. There's some really funny stuff you could do. It'd probably be really hard to pull off, and would be especially bad in a laggy online environment. And again, I don't really think that Valve would be willing to do something like that. But the Portal games are absolutely cult classics, and I think that they could warrant representation in terms of that matter. But I still don't think it's fair to put Shell anywhere other than the joke picks. And the last one, again, more like Senran Kagura and GTA. This is more for the representation than the moveset. But I think it would be interesting to get Ash, the Frost Archer. Going back to what I said about Master Chief and genre representation, another genre that isn't really represented in Smash Bros. Is the MMO/MOBA genre. I don't realize that's not actually the same thing, but they're close enough that I feel one character could sort of represent them. I'm sure you can make an argument that a character from like World of Warcraft and that it makes an appearance in Heroes of the Storm might be a better representation than a character from League of Legends, but I've never played Warcraft or World of Warcraft or Heroes of the Storm. The only Blizzard game I've played is Overwatch, so I'm sticking to what I know. Nevertheless, I think Ash herself, I think, could be a really fun character. She'd be obviously an incredibly projectile-focused character, kind of along the lines of the Lynx and Pit, with like fun bow shenanigans and being able to launch multiple different types of arrows, having like a stacking slow effect, kind of like Inkling, like the more arrows she tags an enemy with, and then maybe putting a bit of like Mega Man in there where her basic attacks and jabs are ranged as well. I don't know. There's some interesting potential, but in terms of representation, it's kind of silly. So, those are my picks. My predictions are Sora, the Luminary, Velvet, and Master Chief. My wish list is Travis Touchdown, Cat, Shantae, and Amaterasu. And my joke picks are Chell, Asuka, the Cruise from GTA 5, and Ash the Frost Archer. If any of these characters get in, I'll be happy. But honestly, even if none of them do, I'll still be happy because we have Joker.